After World War I, Jack moved to Dallas and started selling cars up there. He fell in love with a Texan. Became friends with Arthur Bird, who had some financial backing, and they were able to purchase a dealership in Waco. To me, it almost seemed like the car dealership was just a vehicle to community service. His goal was never to have the most successful, biggest car dealership. It was to use that so that he could accomplish other things. All of us get asked about the freeway. Why is it named Jack Kultgen Expressway? What is that story? He was the chairman of the State Highway Commission. He actually was personal friends with LBJ, and that kind of overlapped. They were working on setting up the highway system, and I-35 was being built to go from Dallas all the way down south and to really change Texas. And a lot of people felt that it would be best if it went around Waco, and he felt that it would be best if it went through Waco. I know Waco had a lot of flooding issues. I know that the lake was really a great answer to that. I also know that they had a lot of vision for the long-term water needs of the community, and some of the issues Waco has not had have been because of that vision. When Connally Air Force Base closed, the Chamber was working on what to do with that and how to, use that for the economy in Waco. And so he was the chairman of that committee. They wanted to make it into a training school. We all feel like our greatest challenge is finding good, skilled technicians. And I know that was one of my great-grandfather's greatest challenges in 1936. I'm grateful, obviously, for the work he did starting TSCC and setting up the automotive center there so that people could get those skills, because it is a great career. It's a great way to provide for your family. As some people know, he was a huge Catholic and very devout, which was unusual for Waco back then. So when Providence was struggling at one point, they went to him to try to do a fundraiser, and they were able to raise enough money to keep the hospital. In fact, it went so well that Hillcrest approached him. Back then, the two hospitals, I understand, were a little more divided because of religious reasons, so it was pretty unusual for the Baptist hospital to approach one of the Catholic leaders in town. He obviously believed in health care, so much so that he said yes, and he did a similar effort for that. From that actually kind of spun the leadership for Floyd Casey. I think seeing that need for Waco and how that stadium and athletics with Baylor could grow Waco and what Waco was doing, I think that's what he saw. I think it must have been really cool to have one of Waco's leader have such a strong opinion about not having segregation and about helping people better themselves regardless of their race. It's really neat to look at the dealership's old pictures and see that racial integration far ahead of most businesses. That from the get-go he was willing to hire folks, and I think probably even worked hard to hire folks to set an example. He was friends with LBJ through a lot of things, and they actually got to work on some neat projects together. But when LBJ went to Washington, one of the neat things I've always heard is that the Secret Service came down and installed a special phone in the dealership in his office so that they could keep talking. I didn't know my great-grandfather very well. I was very young, but throughout my life, it's those little moments people take to tell me about a project they worked on or something they were able to achieve or something their dad or grandfather worked on him with. And it seems unending. Like I said, I'm almost 40 and I'm still learning about projects and different things that were accomplished. And they're major things, they're not little things. So that's why I think it's neat to read stuff like books or look at old photos or hear stories, so you can, not what was accomplished, but what were the traits or beliefs or values or priorities that allowed him to accomplish so much, because I think clearly he had some things in a pretty good order. I think just on behalf of our family, it's really humbling, and it makes me very honored that even a good bit of time after his death, the contributions he made to Waco are still being seen as valuable, and I think that we can all take that and try to reflect on them as why are these still seen after such time to be valuable, and what are some of the things that we should invest our time and effort into through the chamber, through businesses, through relationships, things that will have kind of those lasting legacies.